afternoon. This is Pat Walker, Mission Winners, making a video overview of the ETFs. Why do we do this? It's not because we like to look at a ton of charts, okay? It's because it helps keep us organized. Leading groups, this is a fact, not an opinion. Leading groups produce leading stocks produce leading groups. We can look at the ETFs and see is there opportunities potentially to make money, but also more importantly, areas to maybe avoid. Both foundations are really important. So let's go through and look at them. Here's cloud computing. Weekly on the left, daily on the right. And you can see, you can look at the daily and say, I don't see anything there. I agree. But then you look at the weekly and say, oh, I kind of see a base forming here and it lifted up on good volume. It's not a good setup at this point in time, but perhaps it'll go sideways on the daily or the weekly, form a handle here, and I'll draw this for you. It's the kind of work we do with Mission Winners. Just like that, forms a little handle here and takes off. I am not forecasting. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's starting to maybe line up. The other variable that's important, tons of overhead supply here. Got to be careful with that. Okay, let's continue onwards. Just pointing it out to you. No great setup at this point in time. Okay, DBC, folks, commodities. Literally in 1 second, it says, I'm staying away from this. Yeah, I agree. Done. Go to the next one. Here's the beautiful part. You don't have to overthink it. This is the Dow Jones leveraged ETF, the DDM. It's going sideways right here. That's not bad, but a little choppy too, okay? And that's indicative of the market's a little choppier, as you know. So no great setup there. I don't think I've ever bought this one, okay? I like SSO and QLD better. There's the diamonds, same thing as DDM. You can see it's basing. It's not really falling. It's just going sideways. That's constructive. Maybe it'll take out this line right here, and I'll draw it for you just to help you. And say, oh, that would be good. The Dow's picking up. Okay, fine. Dow, please know this. The Dow is only 30 stocks, and it's price weighted. It's not really representative of what the market's doing at all. So we move on. Continue onward. This is the electric vehicle ETF, and you can see it lifted across this base right here on the weekly, did it on volume, and marching up here on the daily, pulling back a little bit. What's the big horse in this one? That's a bad pun. I know it's dad humor. Well, Tesla's a major portion of this, and Tesla's had a good run for us. So anyway, that's where that's at. Nothing really great to do with it at this point in time. Just pointing it out. Here's the next one for you. Dow Jones Internet rallied up on the weekly. Look at that. See the base? This is why we look at the weeklies. If you just looked at the daily, you'd say, I don't really see anything there. Here, I'll make this tighter up. Yeah, I can kind of see a base, marched up here. But when you confirm it against the weekly, you go, oh, that's good. Now it's pulling back. The market's sloppy, as I stated. No great setup at this point in time. Continue onward. The IBD 50. Now, this is very telling. This is the ETF of the IBD 50 list. The IBD 50 list, those are good stocks, okay? I don't cast any stones at those. But look at this drop here. It tells you how rough the market has been, okay? I mean, that's wicked right there. And again, I'm not casting stones at the IBD 50. They're a great list. But it just tells you the growth stock market's been kind of rough for a while. There you go. It is starting to improve a little bit here, and that's a plus. Continue onward. Dow Jones, First Trust, Dorsey Wright, just going sideways right here, maybe forming a cup and handle, but you can see there's some red in this bar. Look at the red volume bars, folks. Train your eyes on this, red and green. And you can see some red here, just not really clean. Continue onwards. What do we have here? Well, we've got China. China lifted up, pulling back a little bit. Okay, maybe it's going to start to lift up again. It did lift up on decent volume. There's some green bars there. Needs to lift here. Please note, though, the foreign ETFs, because they're overseas, there's more gaps in them. That's not a criticism. It's just the way it is. All right, let's continue onwards. And what do we have here? Gold miners. In 1 second, you look at the daily and say, I ain't buying gold miners. Done. Do you realize the power in that? So many people, they look at a million different things. We can instantly rule out stuff too. That improves our focus on what remains. Leave this alone. Gold, same situation. It lifted up here, and now it's just real sloppy. Maybe it'll straighten up, but nothing there. Biotech, in 1 second, it tells you what? Here's the weekly, here's the daily. It says stay away from biotech. Done. That's it. Continue onward. Oil and gas. Weekly is okay. Daily starting to improve a little bit. It lifted off here, But is there a clean entry on this? Nope. Move on. That's oil and gas. Energy. You got to be careful with that then, right? Here we go. Software technology. This lifted across these tops. I'll draw something for you here. Right there. Nothing fancy. That's it. What does it need to do, folks? It's spiked up here on good volume and it's pulled back. Maybe it'll base here and form a handle and lift off here. But it tells us something else important. Maybe technology software starting to improve. So what do you do with that knowledge? Maybe look further into some software stocks, some technology stocks. That's systematizing. I like that. Here we go. Dow Jones Medicine started to lift up, gave it right back. Probably indicative of the market too, folks. Look, lifts up, breaks across these tops, and they take it right back down on a pickup in volume on Thursday. A little sloppy. Again, poster child of the market. Mid-cap, iShares mid-cap, picking up a little bit. Now, what does this tell you? You see how this lifted across this base? And it also lifted here. Again, weekly on the left, daily on the right. It tells us, hey, maybe I should look at a little bit of some mid-cap stocks. Yeah, there you go. That helps us make better decisions. Continue onwards. This is aerospace and defense is picking up a little bit. There'd be stocks maybe like Lockheed Martin, company Northrop, companies like that picking up a little bit that you could dig into. There we go. Let's move on. Don't want to take too much of your time. Home construction. Look at the base. And it's picking up. What does that say? What did it say? Back here, watch this. Maybe I should look at some home building stocks. Yeah, I see that base, so maybe that'd be good. Yeah, there you go. Let's continue onwards. I don't want to take too much of your time here. S&P 500 growth. This is the daily, and it's pretty dang choppy, but here we go. Here's the weekly going across these tops, and I'll draw it for you. And it's nothing fancy, folks. There it is. What does it need to do? And by the way, do you see where it's going up in volume, steadily been increasing, and then it pulls back on less volume? Maybe it's going to form a handle and start to lift off. That's good to see. You could either look at some, the growth stocks in the S&P 500. That would be nice to see. Or you can just buy the ETF if it triggers. There we go. Continue onwards. And what do we have here? Russell, IWM, started to lift off here. This is why we do it, folks. Look at this. Daily on the right, weekly on the left. Look at that base. Everybody saw it. Watch this. Clean and simple bases. I say this a lot at Mission Winners. I post this a lot on the big feed too. Focus on bases that everybody can see, that are easy to see. Why? It increases the potential that A, everybody sees it, and B, they'll buy. Isn't that what we want? I don't want to be the Lone Ranger out there saying, I'm the only one who saw that breakout. No, we want other people to see it. That's why we like clean and simple bases. It lifted off here. Now let's go back here. Here we go. So now it ran up and now it's pulling right back again. Okay. And again, that's indicative of the kind of the market we're in. You've got to be careful here. Let's move on here. This is, and by the way, you can always look here and say, what is this? This is U.S. real estate. Ran up, pulled back. Poster child of the market. Be careful there. Transports had a good run here. See the weekly? And here's the daily. Watch this. You'll like this. There's the weekly. There's a daily. It's just going sideways. I guess if it takes this out, that'd be pretty good. Yeah. What we need to see? Volume. Oh, gee whiz. There's a volume pickup. People voted. There you go. And what do? You sell some into strength. Okay? In this market, that's why. We do the exact same thing with the stocks. Up, right back. Let's move on. Jets. Makes me think of the Paul McCartney song, Jet. Do, 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 do. Okay, moving up here. Don't worry, I won't sing anymore. Goes across these clean and simple tops, and then it gives it right back pretty much on an increase in volume. A poster child for what's going on in the market. But you can see the clean and simple base. Just got to kind of be careful with it. Here we go, regional banks. All right, runs up, gives it right back. Now, what does it need to do? And I'm not saying it will do this, but you can see these tops across here. Nothing fancy, just a flat line. What does it have to do? Push through these tops, which also corresponds with right here. Push through those tops with volume. Right now, nothing to do with it. Continue onwards. Biotech. The weekly, you can't really see anything. I'll make this bigger so you can watch, you can see what I'm saying. Runs up, gives it right back. Poster child for what's going on in a lot of different sectors in the market. And you can see it too. I'll make that a little bigger. You can see it too on the daily. Be careful with biotech. Mid-cap, lift it up. This is one of the policies we have at Mission Winners. Sell some into strength if you get a gift. Okay, especially in this kind of a market. Lift it up. Here's the weekly, daily. Look at the daily picking up. Good volume. You sell some into strength. If you hadn't sold any, you would have bought it in here, rallied it up. You're up about 20 bucks. And now you're just dang near up $3 if you're lucky, $4. That's it. That's why you sell some into strength. But it does tell us something too. Mid caps have improved some. That's nice to see. Now, this is why we do this. Look at OIH, oil services. You see it going sideways right here on the weekly? You see it going sideways here on the daily? See the volume pickup here? But it was to the downside. Then right back. There's a base right here. That could be a potential candidate. Now you take it a step further, say, well, then I guess I could buy OIH. You could also look at some oil service stocks, leading energy stocks. You could punch up OIH and look at the top 10 holdings and see if there's something there. That's systematizing. And how long does it take you to do that? Gosh, that must take a total of maybe 2 minutes. There you go. 2 minutes to make money. Pharmaceuticals, a little sloppy here. Nothing great going on there, as you can see, okay? Software runs up and they just give it right back. Look at that. Look at that. Runs up and they take it right back down. What does that say? Be careful with software. Let's continue onwards here. We'll finish this up. Here's QLD, had a base right here. Okay. Lift it up. You can see it. Look at the volume pickup here. Lift it up. We bought this, ran up, starts, sell some into strength in this kind of a market, and then, kind of faded on down. We locked it down. That's it. Not a huge gain, but it's what you look for. Systematize. Here's the weekly. Oh, I guess if it takes out that white line, that'd be pretty good. And it did. There you go. Off to the races. And you made some money. Nothing to do with it at this point in time. Same thing's true with QQQ. I like QLD better for the leverage. Retail. There's a poster child. Look at this. This animal goes right back up. Look at that. Look at that go up. Look at that gap. Okay. Boom. Right back down. That's the kind of market it is in a lot of different areas. Silver. That's lost its sheen. I'm sorry. That's okay. My kids would shake their head right now. Gosh, I guess my grandkids even would right now, right? Anyway, you can see this. Nothing special there. Steel lifts up, gives it right back. Nothing really clean there. Be careful with that. Semiconductors, a little bit of power there, and it's hanging in. It's hanging in. Okay. Just okay. Came right down into the pivot. Got to be careful with that. But it does say, oh, semis look better than a lot of the others. Something to look into. There you go. Spiders, I'll get rid of that little arrow. Spiders lifted across the line. You can see the tops right here on the weekly. Here it is on the daily. Goes right up, goes right back down. Breaks out, falls back into the base. Poster child for the market. SSO, same situation. Lifts up, goes right back down. What does that mean to all of us, team? It means be cautious. Don't go too big with stuff here. Control risk. The time will come where we can really push it. The time will come when you can go on margin and really get pushing it. Right now ain't the time. That's simple. Solar, there's a base right there. Runs up there, tickles just a little bit on the daily, but no volume. Look at that. Gaps up, reverses right back down. Tells you to be careful. TLT, U.S. Treasuries, just chopping around here, just pointing it out to you. Nothing great there. Needs to go across this line here. I'll draw this for you real quick. There you go. Interest rate sensitive, okay, with interest rates. Oh, this leads to an important point. We're not going to get political, okay, just lay that out there. But I'm not saying be ignorant, be ignorant of what's going on politically, but don't get too wrapped up in it, okay? We're here to make money. Focusing on the charts really helps us. Again, don't ignore what's going on, but tie in with all this. That will really help you. Small cap, like IWM, lifts off. Look at the base. Lifts off on the daily. Lifts off and they take it right back. Kind of market we're in. And again, here we go. Natural gas, There's nothing great there. Move on. I mean, folks, this is why we do this. Literally, since August, since September, I ain't buying any natural gas stocks. You're done. Think of how that helps you. You don't have to look at that group anymore. That helps us focus on better candidates, and that's what we want. Remember this, we have a limited amount of money and we have a limited amount of time. Let's use both wisely, okay? Right here, uranium's just kind of chopping around, nothing great there. There's oil, still chopping around. It needs to get across these tops here. You can see what's in the top 10 stocks in this group, excuse me. I want to draw this to help you. That's the weekly, and here's the daily. It needs to go across these lines, and I'll draw the line for you in the daily. It's not rocket science. This is a very important point. This is something we're really big on in Mission Winners. Focus on clean and simple bases. I can punch up 10 or 20 of them right now, what we own. Clean and simple bases. It's the greatest potential for making money. Why? Because everybody sees them. Isn't that what we want? It increases the potential that A, they see it, and B, they'll buy. That's what we want. We don't want to beat the lone wolf out there. Consumer discretionary lifted off and gave it right back too. Aerospace and defense picked up here a little bit. You can see the base, and it's still hanging in there. It gave back a little bit, but it's still above the pivot. Oh, aerospace and defense. Okay. Another biotechnology ETF. Up, right back down. Be careful with biotech. Home builders are starting to improve a little bit. That's good to see. Looking at some home builders. Materials. Lifts up. They take it right back again. We need to see some things stick. That would help. Communication services. There's a little base right there and it lifted off. But look at here. I'll draw this for you. Just some bases right here. Lifted off on a pickup in volume. And what's it do? It gives it right back. And now here's the important lesson for you. Do you see how that gapped up? This is the daily chart. Look at it. I'm buying this. This is the best thing since sliced bread. This is it. And it takes it right back down. The moral there, be careful chasing gap ups. Okay? I'm asking you. Energy picking up a little bit, but it is kind of loose here. You can see it on the weekly and you can see it on the daily. But it is hanging in okay. So it's picking up a little bit. Continue onwards. We've got financial services picking up a little bit, but not really robust right now. The industrials is basing here. That's a longer base though, and it's hanging in. Maybe, what does that tell you? Maybe I should look at some industrial stocks. There we go. We don't have to forecast, it'll tell us. Technology, just kind of chopping around, nothing great. Right here, consumer staples, I'd stay away from them. Done, move on. There's Power First there too. Healthcare, what's this say? Be careful with healthcare stocks. You see this? By the way, you can always see what the name is right up there, okay? Or here. Continue onwards. Consumer discretionary, it's just chopping around. There's not a lot of power there. Metals and mining, it's all right. You know, it's grinding. Oil and gas exploration, there's no setup here. You're not going to see this in any chart book saying this is what you look for. Retailing picked up a little bit here. See on that bar? That was good. And what did it do? The next bar gave it back. Software, look at how software lifted up. It picked up. Yeah, we've been involved with a little software. There you go, technology. And it's hanging in okay. What do you do in situations like this though? When you get a gift in this market, you sell some into strength. There you go. The MAXLIST stocks. Here's Apple. Started to lift off. Okay. And I'll show you something here, kind of neat. There you go. I see a deep cup right here, right? Pretty deep cup. Some accumulation on the right side. And what could it form? Maybe it will form a handle. And notice I said something very important there. Maybe. I don't say that it will, because we don't know the future. And what's it need to do? Go through here, and do it on volume. I must stress, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's lining up okay. Amazon runs up, volume's decreasing. Maybe it'll base down here on the 21-day and start to lift off again. We'll have to see. Let's continue onwards. Alibaba, clean base right here. This is the weekly, and here's the daily. You see how simple that was? That was picked up here. And that was a good run. Look at that. Look at the volume pickup. That's nice money. That was on the key list and it worked. There's Alibaba. Now, what do you notice on the daily? You say, well, look, gap down here and the volume's picking up. You got to make sure if this starts to crash through or fall through the 50-day, okay, crash crud, fall through the 50-day, you may want to sell more or sell the rest and lock it in. And here's the best part. You have a plan. You know what to do. And we'll watch and see what happens. Let's continue onwards. BIDU, lifted off here. This was bought here and here. Nice run and sells into strength. But you see what it's doing here? Big reversal. I got to clean that out. There you go. Never argue with price. Never. Especially in this kind of a market. Be careful. There's Google. Google breaks out and runs up and drops. Goldman Sachs starts to lift up here and it gives it right back. That's kind of the way the market's been in several different areas. MasterCard breaks out across these tops. Look at this. And gives it right back. It's just not, again, not being negative. It's just the kind of market we're in, but it'll settle down. It always has, and it always will. And you'll be ready. We'll be ready without a lot of baggage, financial baggage or psychological baggage where you're afraid. Please, I want to share this with everybody. One of the best books I've ever read, and I've read it many times, and I've talked about it at the IBD meetups, Market Wizards by Jack Schwager. The last chapter is an interview with Dr. Van Tharp, T-H-A-R-P. It is one of the best chapters in a book for investing you could ever read. I've made videos on it, okay? It's just really great. Dr. Van Tharp, T-H-A-R-P. Check it out. It's worth it. The last interview is remarkable. And the interview with Ed Secoda is great too. I mean, I was so glad to meet him years ago. What a cool dude. Meta, base right here. Okay, base down here, base right here. We bought it twice, runs up, works great. You get a gift here. And what do? We sold into that strength, folks. Started to drop. Okay, we locked the rest in this market. There it is, vanilla. There we go. Continue onward. Microsoft. You can see the base right here. This lifted off. See the volume pickup? And we bought it. It was on the key list. And we sold into strength. Started to drop. Wanted to make sure to make money, okay, especially in this market, and don't let a profit turn into a loss. Netflix, entry down here. You see this right here? Right in there. And entry down here. Right there. And it's working. And it's still working. Here's the weekly. Look at that move, folks. Right here, first buy down here. Look at the volume. That's it. MAXLIST stock, working. I wish they all did this. That'd just be sweet potato pie. But note that trend. That's how money is made, is trends. NVIDIA. I have to show you this. This is a higher low setup. We bought this. See the volume pickup on that bar, folks? Bouncing off the 50-day. And there you go. That's a trend for you. That was on the key list. That was on the key list. VIPs own it. There you go. Continue onwards. And as is where it is now, it's just kind of, let me move this back here. Hold on. Dropping here, sold more. There you go. That's riding trends. This is the 8-period exponential, folks. There's a lot of research in that moving average. A lot. Okay, so God, you must have spent weeks on that. No, months with my brother from another mother. And he's going to smile when he hears it, but I ain't going to tell you his name. He's very good. But anyway, that's it right there. Tesla. Look at the base down here on the weekly. And again, this isn't bragging. No, I'm trying to show people what to look for, okay? I remember going to CANSOM level 3 and stuff. I'll tell you what, it was great. Bill O'Neill, Mike Webster was another one of the speakers. So was Charlie Harris. They opened up my eyes to things. I'm thankful for what those people did for me. Here we go. Nice trend. And Mike Webster, what a heck of a, Bill O'Neill, what a heck of a nice guy. I didn't get to meet Charlie, but I'm sure he's a great guy too. But there it is. Look at the trend up the ADMA, folks. That's the yellow line. That's how money is made. Base entry right here, and it's just working. Sells into strength, fine. But note, I'm saying it again, the 8-period exponential moving average, I'm not telling you to use it. We use it. I've used it for years. Look at the trend. It's just a thing of beauty. Okay. Would I say buy it here? No. No, don't buy it here. We've been selling into strength. Okay. We'll watch and see what happens then. Okay. Visa. This is why you got to be careful chasing stuff. Visa. It's everywhere you want to be, right? So it lifts up here. You chase that price. If you're going to buy here, there's the spot to buy, not up here. Don't chase price because that's called a haircut. And if you saw my picture, you'd say, I don't think Pat knows what a haircut is anymore. You got to have fun too. So anyway, just be careful with that. The moral of the story is buy right, don't chase price. Manage them in this market. That would hurt. That would hurt. And we go back up to the top. Have a good, safe weekend. If you celebrate Valentine's, happy Valentine's Day to you.
Thank you for watching the video. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit like. Maybe hit that subscribe button. We come up with new content nearly every day. Also, check out the videos on the right. YouTube recommends the one on the top, and the bottom one is something we thought you might enjoy. See you next time.